This is Amy Poehler. My new movie, Disney and Pixar's Inside Out 2, is coming to theaters June 14th, and it's making me feel joy and sadness and anger, definitely some disgust, and I think a little fear. But I'm also feeling these new emotions like anxiety, embarrassment, envy, and ennui.
It's what you call the boredom.
Okay, that one was weird. It's going to be the feel everything movie of the summer. Disney and Pixar's Inside Out 2, rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. Only in theaters June 14th. Get tickets now.
Welcome to the RuPaul's Drag Race Recap Show for Season 15, Episode 15, titled Reunited. My name is Joe Betance, and I am joined, as always, by one mellifluous co-host. First, from the podcast Breaking Down Bad Books, please say...
Do a trick, pony!
to Mr. Nathan Patrick Brown. Hello, Nathan.
Hi, Joe. What's mellifluous mean?
I think it means like pleasing to the ear. Let's see here. Sweet or musical, pleasant to hear.
Yay!
Yeah.
I'm mellifluous.
Mellifluous, that would be your drag name. Dancing. Which is funny because we're not even on video this week. Anyway, Nathan Patrick Brown, we are here to talk about the reunion. I'm going to tell you, everybody, as soon as I finished watching the reunion, I immediately called Nathan and I was like, I don't know what we're going to talk about. Because, let's just get into this. This week, they reunited. All right, Nathan, give me two things. Give me two things you liked about the episode and one thing you did not.
Well, I liked seeing some of these girls again. I thought Irene was great getting her jokes in. It was nice to see Sugar and Spice again. They were hilarious. Mm-hmm. And the other thing I liked was this Mistress Isabel Brooks. I think she ran the whole episode. Mm-hmm. If the reunion was a challenge, she would have won.
Oh,
and
interesting.
She can add that to her point system. I think this is a point in her favor to actually win the crown because she's heads and shoulders above everyone else in the personality stakes. So I thought she did fantastic this reunion. Interesting,
because I have a different take on that. But no, still think she won. I still think she won. But was it the behavior or the presence of a queen or a court jester? We have to discuss that. Now, we don't have Deckhead, our line producer, here to tell us. But, we're actually live for the first time this season. I swore to myself that this season I would every week record the show. But this week, for the first time this season, we are live on Discord. Granted, for most of the people, it's at midnight. Their time. But we're still, regardless, live on Discord. Now, anyway, what I was going to say, though, is was there one thing you didn't like, though?
Okay, so the Princess Poppy look. When my eyes landed on it, I immediately didn't like it because I was like, is that a t-shirt and jeans? And then I realized that it must be a callback. And I looked it up and it's a callback to Rebecca Glasscock's workroom entrance.
Her workroom entrance.
So
look, yeah.
I like it less, but still on the... I like it more, sorry. But still on the Princess Poppy thing, I feel like we didn't really get into her. Like, she's saying she's quitting drag. I would have liked to have explored that for a bit longer in this episode, rather than some of the things we did discuss.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sometimes you want to see more of the queens you didn't get to see much of, like Princess Poppy and whatnot. So, what's funny, here's my problem. I'm not going to share my two things I liked and one thing I didn't. I'll tell you why.
Sure.
No, I'll tell you. Whoa. I'll tell you.
Snap out of it.
Yeah, I'll tell you why not. If I do, okay, if I say the two things I liked and the one thing I didn't, then we might as well then. Because that's everything I have to say about the episode. But I'll do it and then we can elaborate. I love the shady editors. Anytime, like there was one part where Mistress says, like, someone did it, I'm not going to say who it is. And then the camera just held long on Lucy, right? I thought that was really shady and great. The other thing I liked was my whole relationship with Lucy LaDuca in this episode, right?
As in it turned around?
Yeah, for a lot of the episode, I was like, you know what? I'll give this bitch this. She is there. She is taking her lumps. She's being an adult about this. She is not being dramatic. She's not doing anything. She is playing with it. She's admitting to things, blah, 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 blah. And then we get to this scene where she cries about Connecticut.
Oh, brother.
And I was like, all right, well, that's the Lucy. That's the girl I knew she was.
I cannot hear her cry about Connecticut again. So hard growing up in Connecticut. People grow up in much worse places.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not going to name them because that'd be offensive, but you know what I mean?
No, but I know what you mean. Like, she acts like, do you understand this Taylor the Latte Boy in 2022 for 4 straight months had to wake up in the morning on Saturdays, have breakfast with his husband, walk the dogs, and then turn on a microphone, talk about a show that he would watch anyway, and then turn off the microphone and live his life. His marriage was almost ruined. His blood sugar went up. His blood pressure went up. His cancer considered coming back. Like his life was ruined, right? And this Lucy LaDuca is complaining. Does she know Taylor the Latte Boy and everything?
The gall.
The unmitigated gall that what he sacrificed to do that. And by the way, Taylor will be here for All-Star Season 8. He'll be the second chair. Anyway, what I'm going to tell you is the thing I didn't like about the episode. I'm going to actually give this episode a compliment. I'm going to actually say this is the criticism I can give. I actually don't think it was a bad watch. I think it was a very watchable reunion. There weren't any fights, which we would love to see some fights and some sparks and whatnot. Fights, I would love more fights. Would love Vixen walking out or whatever. But it wasn't, someone in the chat room right now said it felt like Luke said it felt like 6 hours. Here's the problem. I kind of pulled a Lori. And for people outside of the world of Afterthought Media, don't realize this. Lori will watch the show on her drive home from work. Like, watch it. She's driving and she's watching the show, right? And I had to go somewhere while it was airing. So I watched it on my half-hour drive there and my half-hour drive back. So the most of it, I had to watch like 5 minutes here and there. So I got to watch in little pieces, and it's something that's more interesting as you're driving.
Well, it's the nature of a reunion. Like, I love a reunion on The Housewives. Yes, they do fight more. But this format, like, it's fun to see the golden boot. It's fun for them to toot the looks we didn't see, to get the unaired reads. I would have just thought that, considering the first half of this season was a 60-minute episode scenario, and then the second half we had the 90-minute episodes, there'd be more unaired footage that we could watch.
But this is going with my... But let me wrap up what I was going to say, then we'll address this.
Yeah.
What I was going to say is, the episode was serviceable to the point where there's nothing really to recap. So my negative thing is, bitches, you gave me nothing to recap. All right. Yeah. To address what you just said, this goes to what I was saying, which is there is this Reddit mythology that there's just this reams and hours of just amazing footage that we didn't see. And I'm telling you, I promise you, there isn't. And I think that there were some things that we didn't see. And like, for instance, I thought that those reads, usually when they show the unedited reads, they're horrible. They were actually pretty good.
I was quite impressed. I thought, but we only got like one read each person when we saw the reading challenge. But I thought at the time, I was like, maybe they did have shit reads, but some of them were funny and some of the clapbacks were funny.
Yeah. And at the moments they showed were good. But I am telling you, I am promising you, people, everything was there. I mean, look, are there things we didn't see? Sure. Are there things that were probably mildly interesting? Maybe. But here's what we missed. We missed like a mirror moment where Marsha asked everybody where they were on 9/11. Like that's what we missed. We missed Jax, like where they played like silly music Okay, you know what? Okay, I gotta close the chat room. Let me tell you what's going on here. People who aren't on Patreon or Discord. There was this whole about in the regular Drag Race world, there was this uproar about the 60-minute episodes. Well, in Afterthought Media world, that was the same for the fact that we didn't go live this season. Now, we didn't go live for technical reasons, not because we didn't want to go live. But now because we're not doing video or anything right now for this episode, we could go live. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And now we're live. There's a chat room, and now it's just the usual nonsense in the chat. Somebody, I'm not going to say who on the air, somebody just wrote, I just realized I got invited to an orgy tonight and did not go.
Okay, well, that floors me because every time I've been invited to an orgy, I remember it.
Yeah. Yeah, who's like, I was a big, like, I'm imagining this person in front of the TV with slippers on and a robe and an avocado mask on and like the towel around his head, and he's like eating Doritos, and then he's like, listen to the show, and then goes like,
wait a minute.
Oh my God. And then everyone's at the orgy like looking around, like,
where is he?
Where's this person? Why isn't he here? We were waiting for him. There's two things I would never want to be in an orgy: the first person to finish and the last person to finish.
Yeah. Because
the first person, imagine you finish, you're the first person, and you're done, right? Well, first of all, if it were me, I don't know how you are, Nathan. If I were in an orgy and I finish, I've said this before, and people have probably heard me say this before. No one is more homophobic. I become fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene the second I come. I come, and I'm like, what did I do? With a man? Right? And so if I'm in an orgy, I can imagine being like, ugh, oh, and then like having to be like, excuse me.
I gotta get out.
I gotta get out.
Has anyone seen my shoes?
Yeah. Where's you're on my jacket,
Excuse me, just lift up that cheek.
Excuse me. Pardon me. Excuse me. That's my, that's my yes, that one. No. The members only one. The members only. Yes, that one. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And then the other side, and then you're, oh, what did I just step in? And then you got to put in your socks and your shoes, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then the other side, if you're the last one, and like everyone's just like, oh God, like, all right, let's wrap this up,
Yeah, the parking meter's running over.
Yeah, and then like then the host is like, like cleaning things up and like,
they're cleaning around you,
it awkward, and like, like, oh well.
The lights are coming on. You start redistributing all the keys.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Whose keys are these? And the person's still like going at it. If people can't tell, this is called vamping. When you don't really have a lot of content. Okay. So what were the standout moments for you in the episode?
Well, okay. Mm-hmm. We talked about Lucy a little bit. Mm-hmm. I was kind of gagged when Lucy called Lux out for wearing a wig on the stage that was already worn by a puppet. I sort of said to myself, she's got me there. Bitch has got a point.
Yeah.
And so I enjoyed them relitigating Lux going down the line and that whole thing.
Yeah.
But again, it didn't really go anywhere deeper because Lux isn't going to acknowledge any fault.
No, ever.
That's our Luxie.
She's she's Christian Ochoa from Bringing to the Runway.
Sort of.
Yeah. Everyone should know. I'm going to give my Patreon plug here. If you're not a member of Patreon, and I'm just going to say very little here. If you're not a member of Patreon, because even Patreon people missed out. You really, really missed out. Last week, there's a part of the thing on Discord called The Stage where we went live, but it's not recorded. It's almost like Clubhouse. It is like Clubhouse. And so it's not recorded. There's no record of this. Nathan and Christian, the girls, went at it. There was a war between Nathan and Christian, and people who were there witnessed it, and people who weren't missed it. And it's one of the most iconic afterthought moments of all time. But But anyway, patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia, and you can witness those moments. Nathan, did you want to go on? Sorry.
Well, I'll just clarify. It wasn't so much of a war as I was being persecuted.
That is true.
There was not as much fighting back as indicated by a war. Anyway, so
guys, I'm not gonna lie. I actually there was a recording of it, and so I have it right here. Actually,
throwing dust in the room. You're so rude and disrespectful. You have no manners.
How
you
do I
have
have
no class and no manners.
Okay, no class, no manners. You piss me off some more, I will whoop your ass. Bitch, I am from Chicago. I don't gotta hit your ass to probably get voted up, bitch.
Hit me. Do it.
Walk off.
Do it.
Step off,
Do
bitch.
it.
You better step off.
Which
I will you up. Step the hell. Step the off.
Hit me.
Step the off.
Hit me.
Why?
I dare you to.
Step the
I dare
off.
you to.
that's what it was like.
Oh, I couldn't hear that, Joe.
Oh, you couldn't? Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, everyone else heard it.
Intro music.
Yeah. All right.
Was it "Eat My Ass, Faggot"?
No, but now we have a new clip 0 for this episode.
Because that's my reaction to Christian. "Eat my ass, faggot."
Oh my God. Oh, by the way, we'll get back to what you said. This was a funny moment when someone during the reading thing called, who was it that called
Irene?
Irene called Selena out for her fake accent, and Selena got pissed.
She said, "Okay, white girl."
Yeah.
I say I would have liked a deeper exploration of that rather than a whole segment on errors. You know?
Yeah. I wish somebody for the reading challenge, you know what I would have been? But this is the Mistress Isabel Brooks in me. I would have been, Rue, I have a read. Selena, eat my ass, faggot. That would have been my read.
And they should have talked about that.
They'll never talk about that. I bet you Mistress did it and they cut it out.
Maybe.
I made that up, by the way.
Maybe. Do you want to talk about the Golden Boot Award since we're on Selena? Because she famously won the Golden Boot look for her lamp thing, her street light lamp crap. Do you agree? Is basically my question. What do you think was the worst look of the seas?
The worst? I don't care about the looks that, in a way that I don't have enough memory to tell you, oh, well, this one look was bad.
Right. Well, when they were introducing this segment, I was like, oh, well, Selena's going to win something.
She had the worst looks on the whole. I'll say that. But didn't famously the Fashion Photo Review really like the street look?
I don't watch this Fashion Photo Review.
Yeah. Why would anybody have a show just about the fashion?
I know. Did you enjoy Maddie Morphosis? The return of Maddie Morphosis to deliver the Golden Boot?
I'm going to tell you something. I find Maddie Morphosis, and I know Jimmy listens and Jimmy's friends with Maddie. I don't really get it. Like, there's something that, she has zero charisma for me. And I know I've now learned that she's very funny, that she's very funny. She has that very dry sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't do it for me. Does she do it for you, Nathan?
No, she doesn't. And I sort of thought, if Poppy's going to quit drag, if that's an option, how come Maddie hasn't quit drag yet? I thought she'd just do it for a gimmick, get on the show, and then she'd be like, you know what, it's not for me. And then she'd end it.
What is your opinion of this Poppy Woods quitting drag thing? Is that her name? Who's Poppy Woods?
Princess Poppy. I'm
no,
not
Poppy
sure
Woods
who
is Poppy Woods. I know who Poppy Woods is. Poppy Woods. I am so sorry. That's all I'm going to say.
A porn star?
No.
Okay. This Princess Poppy. I sort of get the impression that she came on the show thinking she was going to be great. She wasn't great, and then she's giving up, and she thinks fuck them.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to give you my thought, but I'm going to give you my thought right after this break.
Say goodbye to your credit card rewards. Greedy corporate mega stores, led by Walmart and Target, are pushing for a law in Congress to take away your hard-earned cash back and travel points to line their pockets. The Durbin-Marshall credit card bill would enact harmful credit card routing mandates that would end credit card rewards as we know it. If you love your credit card rewards, tell your lawmakers, hands off my rewards. Tell them to oppose the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill.
I swore to myself I wouldn't say yeah all season. So for the first time this season, that was the first yeah. Anyway, so I've had this dream, and I know Princess Poppy didn't do a good job here, right? And this will never happen. I'm too old. I don't want to do drag. None of that stuff. But my dream would always be to, and I'd have to be like a billionaire, because I want to pay enough people to buy me all the looks I need. That would be the fiercest fucking look every week. So in case I was weak, it would save me. And pay all that money for that. Because I wouldn't be doing the show to win the money. I'd be doing the show, because I'd be rich, to go on and be the fucking most amazing, worst, rotted villain that was ever in the history of the show. Like Fifi times 10. Okay?
Wow.
And I would go there, and I would be open. I would be open in the confessionals. I'd be like, guys, this is what I'm doing. This is the whole thing I'm doing. I'm an agent of chaos. I'm just here to fuck shit up. That's the only reason I'm here.
Uh-huh.
And then immediately...
What's your entrance line then?
My entrance line is, watch out, beaners, because the immigration's here. Yeah, I had to insult myself because I was gonna go 5 million different ways. I was like, who is gonna be really upset if I say this? And I realized I can't. I have to hit only me.
You think quick.
Why?
I could see you processing all of that just before you said it.
Yeah, wow. Because
you're like Doctor Strange when he saw the million possibilities.
Yeah. I'm
in the
just
future.
like, you just see it all. And I just go, like I'm like a door in that meme. Anyway, I'm here to take your jobs. That'll be my opening line. Finally, a Mexican's here to take your job. Anyway,
finally,
yeah. So I'd go in there. Fuck shit. I mean, I would be rotted. I don't care, because here's the deal. See how all these drag queens, this season not a good example, but in previous seasons, well, no, this season is a good example. A lot of these queens are just so obsessed with their life post-show, social media, this and that. You know what I'd do? Go on there. I'd be a rotted, horrible human being, right? I'd reveal how nice I am at the reunion. And then but as soon as the show started airing, I would delete all my social media.
That's what Poppy did, essentially, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I'm like, she kind of stole my bit, but she wasn't good at, it would be, I would want to see, you know how I want to be like? Remember the movie Stand By Me?
Yes.
And there's a scene where Gordy tells a story about Lardass and how everybody was mean to Lardass.
Yep.
So he enters his pie eating contest and he puts something in the pie that they all start shitting or vomiting. I can't remember what it was. Vomiting.
Both.
Yeah. And then he just sat there as everybody was like shitting and vomiting, and he just enjoyed the havoc he wreaked. That would be me. In fact, that would be my drag name, Lardass.
But I think there's a problem here because you said go in, be a villain, last till the end? Because like Irene sort of did that. She came in, she was a villain, and she was stupid. Episode.
She went stupid because at first I would be more like a Iago. I would be like sweet,
and you're not talking the parrot from Aladdin. You're talking the Shakespearean character.
Oh yeah. No, I'm talking about the parrot from Aladdin. No,
do the Iago impression for me.
Hey, Jafar! Why am I making fun of the Jews with my voice, but not really?
You know, okay.
Yeah, but do it with Drag Race quotes.
Oh, okay.
Why are you all acting brand new? Who's after peppermint?
Okay, there you go. You know?
This is great.
Yeah. Give another one?
Yeah.
Okay.
RuPaul's Drag Race done fucked up drag.
There we go.
Okay.
I'm so into voguing right now. Only in America could a woman like me have a friggin' chorizo.
I love it. Okay. So anyway.
So you would be like an Iago. Got it.
What are we talking about? Oh, yeah. So I go in there and I
hypothetical of you going on Drag Race.
I'd be so conniving on this fucking show. I would be like behind us, and I'd be nice to everybody's face. Like, you know, a better example. Like, let's say this character I do is really popular. I'd come back for All Stars. Okay.
Okay.
And I would legitimately tell people if I won, I am not sending you home.
Then you would,
and then I would send them home. Life's not fair.
Yeah.
Okay. Were there other moments from the reunion you wanted to talk about, Nathan?
Well, there's a few things I noticed that I enjoyed, such as Mistress's elevated confessional beret look. Mm-hmm. She sort of stepped that up for the reunion.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I really liked Mistress this episode. So do you think this before you said court jester before?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So do you think Mistress knows she's not in the top 2? She knows that last night whenever they filmed the actual finale.
No. That's a good point.
What are you thinking?
I had mentioned this last week on one of the fucking 100 shows I had about this fucking show. That based on what they were doing, I didn't think they were doing. So usually it's been that they film the finale on Friday, do the reunion on Saturday.
Oh, is that not the case this time?
They didn't this year. They didn't. They actually this year filmed because I knew they were filming the finale on Saturday. They filmed the reunion last Friday, and they did the reunion on Saturday. So these girls genuinely don't know who's in the top 2.
Maybe it's better when they do the reunion after the crowning, because you get those great moments with like Shay being super bitter. And, like you remember that reunion where everyone was sort of fighting?
That's like the textbook reunion, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so maybe it would be better if it happened after the crowning.
Well, no, they've all happened after the crowning except for this one. This was just the one. But the problem is this cast. I don't know, because this cast is a bunch of crybabies, as we learned, but also hyper aware of social media and very conscious of it. No matter how much Lux tries to pretend she's above it all, the war with Trinity proves she's not.
That's so true. That's so true. And yet that doesn't get brought up. So the only real fight we had,
I think the war with Trinity happened after the reunion aired.
Oh, okay.
It was filmed.
But the only fight, like Ru says, anyone want to bring anything up? And it seemingly is just Irene. She mentions that Mistress said that they made a joke about Irene's face having fillers, and Lucy said she doesn't have fillers because her face is sagging. And then Lucy denies ever saying that. And then Mistress says, I don't remember if I said it or not. So, and that's like the only bit of fight we had. So like, do you think that's true? Excuse me. What do you think
Nathan
the reality
was at an
is
orgy earlier.
That?
What were you saying?
Yeah.
Oh, what do I think? What?
What do you think is the reality of the situation?
Look, I have been compared both personality-wise and looks to Mistress Isabel Brooks.
Oh, I see that.
And if I'm putting myself in Mistress's low heels, I would say that I think it's a telephone game thing. I think Mistress probably said something like that to get shit going, but it wasn't exactly that, but it was something like that. And it probably was a thing where Lucy said, like Lucy probably said, and Mistress says, well, Lucy has fillers. And then Lucy says, she does? And then Mistress goes, ooh, right? And then she talks to Irene and says, Mistress said you don't have any fillers. She probably thinks that you were saggy. And then Irene heard Lucy said that I look saggy. And then nobody knows what anybody's talking about.
I just think it's interesting that Irene will come into this show and call this person out for not having 40 inches, call this person out, and then word gets back that she's got a saggy face and she blocks Mistress for 3 months?
Yeah. Uh-huh. And that's just shocking you why, Nathan?
Well, it just seems like she'd have a thicker skin since she dishes it out so much.
No. Not at all. But I will say at the end of the episode, if you're looking at wins, who's winning the episode in terms of gains, in terms of improvement, I mean, it might have to go to Irene because Mistress was already in the top 4. So yeah, she won the episode that way, but like, has there ever been a first out that got as much reunion screen time as Irene Dubois?
Yeah.
I mean, I think Irene made a really good case today to bring her back for an All-Stars.
Well, they have her at the front row. Meanwhile, you've got some people in the back that you can't even see. And like Aura, nothing happened with her.
Mm-hmm.
Robin, not much happened. Oh, we talked about the Robin and Amethyst storyline, which they didn't even bother talking about on the show. We spent more time on it at the reunion. It was an odd choice.
And then neither one of them said anything. And and look, I'll be honest with you. Here's the deal. The mistake. Let's both assume that Amethyst and Robin Fierce want to come back to RuPaul's Drag Race and they just didn't show up for a contractual obligation. Let's just assume that.
Sure.
I would actually guess that's true for Amethyst. I'm not sure with Robin Fierce. And the mistake I think a lot of contestants make, even the ones that study this show, is that they believe that this show is a meritocracy. And it's not. The meritocracy is, do you make good television? And the thing is, Irene Dubois made great television. And so Amethyst and Lucy LaDuca, what's funny is I think Lucy LaDuca is in this wonderful position for the producers. I don't think Lucy LaDuca worried about making great television, but she is so cuckoo bananas. She can't help but make great television.
Yes, I agree. And like when Ru said to her, like, oh, do you think you were portrayed well? She's like, I don't think they portrayed every aspect of me. And it's like, well, would they? Like, it's a TV show. How are they going to portray every aspect of you?
They're going to turn you into a caricature and they're going to make that the case. So with Amethyst and Robin Fierce, I think they're thinking too, like, locally. And so they're like, well, I can't talk about this because this will make me look bad in Connecticut. And it's like, if you want to come back on this show, you gotta just put it out there. And I don't think either one of them I wouldn't bring Amethyst or Robin Fierce back on this show. They're boring.
If it were me, if I were one of them, I would have called up the other one and said, hey, listen, Amethyst, you know we used to fuck, right? Let's play the love story angle, at least for the first few episodes of the show, so we can stay for a few weeks.
Yes.
You know, Ru's always been wanting a relationship in the cast.
Yeah.
That's been his dream since Ivy Winters. So you got to play it up for the camera. No one wants you to actually be real.
Didn't Brooke and Vanjie have one?
Oh, yeah, they faked it. It wasn't real.
Oh, it was fake?
Oh, I'm sure it was fake. And then on that, did you watch that show where they were in Vegas? It was like the behind the scenes of Vanjie in Vegas. The showgirl.
Okay. Look, I've never talked about this before. And this is not like everyone knows. I've made this very clear. I can't even look at this Brooklyn Heights. There's something about her face. I just want to.
She's not on this show.
Huh? I know. No. I know where you're going. I know. Just trust me. I know. Look, this Brooklyn Heights. I just don't. No. I'm not going to go into another thing about her. I don't like her. I'm not there with Vanjie, but I feel Vanjie. Definitely, like you could do like a study on this or something like this about the story of Vanjie. She was boring when she was on because she was too in her head, got booted, said that she was being cuckoo, and said that Miss Vanjie line. That was not on purpose. That was, I don't know what she was doing there with the Miss Vanjie. Leaves, becomes sort of the meme of the show for that season.
Yeah, so she was that season's let loose.
She was that season's let loose. So they bring her back the next season. And now because she's gotten the love of the fans in the intervening time, she's a little bit more confident. But now she starts saying stupid shit and doing stupid things that people think, almost like an Alyssa Edwards kind of way, that people think are really funny. But the problem is, and I don't know if Alyssa's ever caught on, there's an innocence about Alyssa where she still says stupid shit. But I think Vanjie is too smart for her own good and stops saying stupid shit. And now I think she's just boring again. But now the problem is now she's trying. It's like that little kid who accidentally says Wawa instead of water. And everyone laughs. And now he just keeps saying Wawa. And I feel with Vanjie, now she's like trying to be that character. And you just gotta let loose, Vanjie, and just let it happen. You'll do it, mama. And so that she bugs me because she seems very try-hard.
Well done, mama.
Yeah.
Well, to close the loop on that, what Vanjie did on that Vegas show that I think got cancelled because of COVID or whatever.
No, it got cancelled because Vanjie's boring. What were you saying?
But she tried to push the love story angle with Cameron Michaels, so that's her shtick. But that's what I would have done if I were Amethyst.
Yes, 100%. I would have gotten together with this Robin Fierce, and I would have been like, let's fight, or let's fuck. By the way, speaking of...
Let's break up on the show.
What was this weird thing with... Aura Mayari is also very cringe. And she had a chance to redeem herself, because let's actually think about this for a second. And I feel sorry for this Princess Poppy. Aura Mayari comes on, and RuPaul knows what she's doing, so she pushes, and she said, did you to Aura, did you have a crush on anybody in the show? And Aura's like, okay, well, I had a crush on Princess Poppy. Fair enough. And that Princess Poppy wrote to her, I'll fuck you, or something like that, okay? Great. Yeah. But then she says to this Princess Poppy, do you still feel that way? And I don't know if Princess Poppy was being real or being polite or whatever, but she says yes. And then she says, well, I'm getting married.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
And you can tell that Ru doesn't care about Aura, because Ru just went, okay, instead of like, oh, that's exciting. Tell us more. Yeah. How was the engagement?
Who is this guy? No, it's just like, all right, well.
Moving on.
Do you have any other thoughts on this episode there, Nathan Patrick Brown?
The other thing that stood out to me, again, it's not a huge talking point, so I'm sorry if I'm just bringing up little tidbits. Mm-hmm. But when we got the, why do you look so bored? You just were visibly nodding off as I was speaking.
No, I was looking at this pen. It still doesn't distract from the thing that I was bored, but I wasn't sleeping.
So when they were talking about Connecticut and they got the Congress people onto the video, I love that these squares said, like, you've got charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. And I'm like, do they know that that's a cunt joke? Like, I think we're getting these Congress representatives to say a cunt joke, and they don't know it.
The other thing, too, is RuPaul goes, we have a special message from you. And she goes, I'm the lieutenant governor of this random state that no one cares about. And here are the 5 faggots that we found in the legislature. And and the girl's like, oh my God. Is that when Lucy cries?
Yeah.
Lucy cried? That's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. These people, who are they?
She was acting like it was Kevin Bacon again.
Oh, Kevin Bacon, she was just, who cares? She was like, oh, that's nice. Oh, that's so nice, Kevin Bacon. Oh, that's great. Thank you. And then Ruth's like, isn't that amazing, Kevin Bacon? She goes, he tweeted about me last week. Anyway, and I was like, okay, well, sorry. And then the random state legislators say hi to all the girls, clearly reading the names of the girls. And they're like, oh my God, this is the greatest honor we've ever received. And crying about how when she grew up in her... By the way, Connecticut is a liberal... And I think there are parts that aren't liberal, but it's a very liberal state. But there are parts... I think more like... But I don't know anything about this. I don't know where Lucy grew up or what her story is. So I don't want to speculate. But again, I'll say this once again. She is a construction worker. And the construction workers bust each other's balls all the fucking time. And this bitch, she gets so emotional about anything. What construction is she doing? Lincoln Logs? What is she doing? Anyway, Nathan, predictions for next week.
Well, I do think Sasha Colby's going to take the crown. I think it'll be an Anitra top 2 just because we want to see that lip sync again. Like we even said in this, there was a whole segment on how good Anitra and Sasha's lip sync was and how everyone wanted to see it. And it was so good.
Yeah.
I think they're going to want to recreate.
Well, here's the deal. That's a way to close the loop on this episode, as I said, is Mistress was the court jester, but Sasha had that, is it regalness? She seemed very regal.
Regal Tundra.
Regalandra, Tundra, Glamoranza, you know?
Yeah.
She had that like, oh, bitch, just hand me the fucking $200,000. My car's right here. Just put the $200,000 in the trunk. You know?
Yeah, she she does a really good job of like rising above the fray.
Yeah.
And like when she talked about like the current political climate and her feeling anxious going into a bathroom in the airport, you're like, wow, this is like a smart bitch. It's a human bitch. And she's also fierce. I can't see anyone beating her. Like, I think Anitra will be top 2, but also Anitra said 3 words this reunion. So I don't really think there's any competition.
No. By the way, in the Discord, someone from Pavianch wrote that he put a link to Marsha's cosmetics, and that was another thing too. Is like that would
I thought that was a joke.
No, it's right there. That would be me going on the reunion, being like, I'm selling diet pills. You know, it's like, well, why would you buy? The girl was known for not bad makeup, but having no makeup.
Yeah, or like Christian writing a book called like How to Win Friends and Influence People. It just wouldn't make any sense.
I'm not going to comment.
I'm in my anti-Christian era.
Yes. Jimmy anti-Christian. All right, guys. Well, why don't we call Nathan, any final thoughts? This is, guys, historically now, whenever it's Lori, Nathan, Taylor, when I say this, that means to them, this is now when I read my long 5-page essay I wrote about the Nitra's boots.
No, I did take the note that you mentioned to me off air earlier to not say anything. So no, I have no final thoughts, Joe.
Did I say that off the air?
Might have been on Just Between Us Girls.
Any final thoughts?
Strongly implied not to have any final thoughts.
No, it's not what I said. I just said, look, you don't give me some like last minute. Look, in the beginning and the end is when I want to hear quick little points. Like, oh, I noticed this. Did you notice Carson looked like an idiot? Blah, 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 like that. Little things that you couldn't mention. I don't need long. And it has to be. Let me put it this way. It has to be really fucking worth it. That's all I have to say. It has to be worth it. Anyway, I'll say this. I think Sasha's going to win. I don't think Mistress and Lux have a chance. I think there'll be a good something or other between Nitra and Sasha. We'll get one more lip sync out of them. And I think it'll be, they're back to the boring format. But, and in terms of for this reunion, like I said, I was watching while I was driving. And so it was entertaining to me during that. And so
dangerous for everyone else on the road.
Oh, yeah. Super dangerous. Yeah.
How many pedestrians did you hit?
3. But, but I did tell them, let loose, as I drove away.
Then it's okay.
Yeah. And then they got up and they laughed and they were, that's right. And then, so why don't we just leave it there? We'll leave it at that. By the way, I'm not going to edit this episode. This is an episode that no one will care about. Because, and by the way, it was a passable reunion. It was fine. Nothing horrible, nothing great. It was fine. All right. On that note, that's going to do it for this amazing episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Recap. Be sure to join us next week as we wrap this whole fucker up, and we talk about the season finale of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 15. But until then, for Nathan Patrick Brown and myself,
Miss Vanjie.
Thank you for listening to Drag Race Recap. Have something to say? Leave us a voicemail at speakpipe.com/afterthoughtmedia. You can also email us at dragracerecap@afterthought.media. For more Drag Race and LGBTQ content, support us over at patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. You can also watch video versions of the show and more over at youtube.com/dragracerecap. This podcast was produced by Luke Stamen and Zach Birch. Nathan Brown has 2 other podcasts. The first is Breaking Down Bad Books, and the other is Bravo, Bravo, Effing Bravo. You can find those podcasts wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow Nathan Brown on Instagram at NathanBrown90. Follow Joe Betance on Instagram and TikTok at Joe Betance. Special thanks to these expensive tier Patreon supporters: Alex S., Anonymous, April Pacheco, Astute Girl, Brad Coley, Carter McKinnon, Corinna Williamson, Doofus Maximus, E. Smith, Elizabeth Timmer, Emma, Humble Pie, J. Thomas Plank, Jesse Harris, Kathy Zender, Lauren Eckert, Lucy Carrasco, Luke Stamen, Mike Yeager, Nikki Baker, Poppy Woods, Ricardo Herrera, Robert NYC, Robin Eganberger, Runner Brandon, Sarah Yu, Tom Bombs, Travi Cosmos, Troy Anderson, Zach Nelson. Drag Race Recap is an Afterthought Media podcast.